All righty. Welcome in, everyone. Okay, hold on, guys. Okay, welcome in, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Instructions for Humanity. I'm going to get some of you guys in here. It's going to be a very, very interesting conversation today. And, you know, there's a beef going on right now, guys. There's a beef going on between Africans and Black Americans, and it's a lot going on, guys. Actually, Source, God, the divine, gave me a message about what the true beef is. So I'm gonna show you some videos. We're gonna explore Black American culture. You know, we're gonna big that up. We're gonna talk about the grievances I think that Africans have and some Black Americans have, and then we're gonna go into the spiritual reason of why all of this is happening. And you're going to actually be shocked on what, you know, it truly is and why this actually is good. This will be good in the end. So we're going to explore this kind of online beef of what's going on. Welcome in. Hi, Sister Gail, beautiful Gail. And please let me know if you can hear me okay, because I don't have my headphones in. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay. And then I'll go ahead and start. Yeah, I'll go ahead and start. And I hope I can do this video short. I really do. I hope I can do it short. I hope it's not too long, but I will wait for a few more of you guys to come in here. All right. I think what I'm going to do and is start playing a few things here. Give me a second. If you're new to the channel, guys, this is Tahirah, Mother of the Ages. I'm your supernatural quantum healer. I specialize in past life regression, quantum healing technology, hypnosis, where I help you remove generational curses, ancestral trauma, soul tears, soul ties, put you back on to your original divine soul's blueprint. We go ahead and we recreate code, guys. We are code. We are coded. The universe is coded. You have codes, source codes, God codes within you. And this is how, when you clear these out and you alchemize, right, to ascend, it gets you back to your original soul's blueprint. So this is what I do here. And this is Instructions for Humanity, Spirit of Consciousness. We're going to dive in here. It might get a little deep here today, and I know we're not used to being deep. We want to just hear some mess, but you know, today we gotta I gotta take you there. I gotta take you there slowly. We gotta build this thing up, and I'm gonna tell you the real reason why this is happening between these two groups of people. And also, too, one thing I do want to point out is that, see, this term African American is going to be a massive problem. When I tell you this thing is not what you think that it is, the term African American was always built as a shell company. Do you guys know what a shell company is? Let me know if you know what a shell company is. Oh, yeah, it's about to get deep. It's about to get deep. Okay. A shell company, guys, is a company you kind of just create to keep other assets inside. This is what I'm talking about. The term African American, we've been duped, was always set up to be a shell company. A shell company is not a real company. A shell company is how you can move one asset or class of assets into a different place or into a different business. This is the term African American. The term African American is not a term that Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, has given ourselves. It is something that circa 1988, that this politician called Jesse Jackson stated one time, and then that, you know, kind of caught on. And then this is when the term African American was formed. What you have to know, and really, I'm doing this video just to get this down, because it's like, this needs to be like time stamped, because we are going through another Renaissance era, and spiritually speaking as well. So what the information I have is like, what I'm doing is I'm viewing from a bird's eye view as of everyone else. I understand we want the mess, right? We want to look through all the TikToks, and I got that for you guys. We're going to look through all this. We're going to show you where the beef originated. But see, what I'm here to do is play spiritual chess, because it ain't never about the physical. It's about what's happening in the spiritual. And what I'm telling you is there's a huge monetary energy heist that is happening right before our eyes, and it does involve the almost $1.7 trillion of Black American spending power, and it does involve the reparations that are due old to the Black Americans, the ones that you can trace your lineage back to chattel slavery. It involves, so there's a lot of money in the pot, right? And so when I talk about this destiny swap energy, there's a lot of money to right now that energetically is on the table energetically. But I do believe that in the future, these reparations will be paid out. I said that before. I saw Trump actually doing that. Last year, I did a prophecy about that. And so what I'm telling you, there's a lot of money at stake, right? And so this is truly where the conversation started. It did not truly start from just you know, the Essence Festival is what everyone's saying. The Essence Festival, if you know anything about that, it was formed by four Black men back in the day. I'm not sure if it was 60s or 70s, but a very long time ago. And the company has, slowly been sold. Pieces of it has been sold, and now it has a Nigerian owner. I'm not sure if he's Nigerian American, but a Nigerian owner. And so, you know, the festival has changed, right? So now that it's under a different ownership, and now, it's just not what it used to be. So essentially, the core of it has been taken out. It's not really an African American or Black American event. It's now, something else, right? um and that's kind of where this whole thing started from. There's a lot to kind of dig through, and I want to make sure I don't miss anything. But yeah, so I do want to say, I want to go back to this African American being a shell company, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what me as a Black American say, or an African person from the continent, or a first or second generational person from the continent says. At the end of the day, the bigger issue is that there's a lot of money at stake, and who is going to be the one holding the bag, the bag of money, and who's the one that will be reintroduced or introduced into slavery and captivity yet again. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're truly looking at is another $5 Indian situation that is playing right before our eyes. And so it is, what I'm here to do is to provide it from a higher level of consciousness, so that we don't get caught up in the dramatics of it all, and the little war, boycotting each other's businesses. That's not it, and that's not what the plan is. What the plan is to siphon the $1.7 trillion of spending power that Black Americans have, in addition to redirect the reparations to the continent of Africa. And in truth, does this truly have anything to do with the Africans? Or does it have something to do with a civilization? See, every couple hundred years, guys, there's a civilization that rises. And then once they drain the resources from that, and what they do, create a shell company. That's what I'm saying. African American is a shell company. What they do is they create a vehicle. That's what this is. It's a vehicle to now go into another country or continent that is not all the way pillaged and drained like this soil here. And they'll take those resources, they'll put it in the shell company, into the vehicle, and then they will move it to another place, and then they will start the system all over again of building from ground up, utilizing the money that they put into the shell company, which is the African American title. Okay, so that's the end of the video. Now I'm gonna build us there slowly, and we're gonna get some information of what source truly has to say, because that's the first thing you have to know. And so right now, I'm going to play a few things, but I'm here to tell you there are certain people who don't even understand what African American is. I was watching a video the other day and I said, hold on a minute, wait a minute. This person literally used the term African American for Africans. I said, wait a minute, this is going to be a problem. And you could tell they didn't know. They thought they were using it correctly. This term is confusing. This term is creating a lot of gray area. It's a gray area. And to be honest with you, I think it was purposefully made this way because, like I said, it is nothing more than a shell company. It is a vehicle to move assets and money and even human chattel, even human labor. This is what this term truly is. And this is why a lot of Black African Americans, foundational Black Americans, are now using the term, because the thing about it is there wasn't a high, level of immigration for people immigrating from the continent. Into the past, 20, 30 years, it's really grown. And so now what ends up happening is that those people get kind of dissolved within this group of people, which they have two separate cultures, two completely different people who, in truth, the real reason why we're having this energetic disturbance is simply because what we're doing is we're looking into the template of what happened during the time that some were taken and some were left behind. Now, if you've been following me on this channel, you will understand that foundational Black Americans, we have been here before the country was formed, right? And I'll play a TikTok, and someone actually says that, but I just know the facts and I know the history because it's in my blood and it's in my DNA. This country was formed in 1776. We were already here. So by definition, anyone indigenous to a land is someone that was there prior to the formation of that said country. We were here before America was America. So when you introduce this group of people from Africa, who they have a very strong lineage there, they have their own traditions there, which is different from ours, African American. The beauty about our culture is that it's always evolving, and that it is world. It is the subculture of the entire world, and we will get to that. And so it's like oil and water. But the problem, the real thing of what we are viewing on a spiritual level, and this is what Source said today. Source was telling me it's about the DNA and the DNA light codes, right? And so the DNA light codes, right? I'm gonna back up to the cells. If you're spiritual, you will understand this. I've always been talking about here on this channel, we are doing what? We are refining the light. And what that means is that we are taking one thing that appears to be whole, because the whole purpose of you being a human being is to now be separated from the all, to be separated from source, to now, through your own experience, understand that source is in every living thing and that every living thing is in source, for you to now come back into wholeness, back into oneness, and then you evolve from this third dimensional plane. This is the essence of life. This is the whole point of life. And this is the flower of life. The flower of life is that secular pattern that actually leads you back to self, brings you back to the original code and pattern, right? And so what truly is going on, what we're looking at here, we're taking something that appears to be whole, right? And what I mean by refining the light, we're taking one thing, we're opening it up to find out what are the impurities within that thing. So as we look at this, I'm going to say race, but this, as we look at people that appear Black, right? Even though they're culturally worlds apart, as we look at that, we open it up, and refining the light means we're looking for anything within the code, anything within the DNA sequences that is out of place, out of order, that is unhealed. I'm a healer. I heal for the collective. So when this came across my spiritual desk, I knew I had to talk about it. So the reason why we have the Africans and African Americans at war with each other right now has nothing to do with what they tell you online. I'm telling you from a spiritual standpoint on what is going on. There is something within our own code. There is an incident that happened in between the two groups that is unhealed. There is a part within our soul's sort of record that is glaring at us, and it's saying, go back, go back, go back. There is something unhealed here. And this is what we're looking at, and it's about to get deep. And what did I say? Why do we have President Trump as our president? And I said this last year, is because there's something within the code of humanity or Americans that we need to see again. We're going to have to revisit this thing called racism. And even though Africans and Black Americans appear to be the same, we are not. We are completely different, and we will get to that. And so the template of what Trump provided an energy for us to live under, right? And what it's allowing us to do is to open up these large templates, right? So we've been working on the Jacob and Esau template. And I totally believe that this war between Africans and African Americans is a Jacob and Esau template. I believe that it is part of that. But what we're truly looking at is the template that was formed through the ties or the cellular memory of this thing that we call slavery, and how truly, and this is such a confirmation because I got a message sent to me right before this, how this truly plays out is that, water is consciousness. Like I always say, water is imprints. Your body is what, 70% at least water. The world, the earth is 70% of the water. In order to have cycles, you must have water involved with cycles, right? And now source is saying this is how we get cyclones, when those cycles kind of clash. One cycle doesn't want to end and the other one, is struggling to begin. This is how we get cyclones. That's just a side note. Okay. So the thing about it is, because we are water, and because the imprint of the captivity, the imprint of this thing we call slavery is unhealed. And even when we look into other nationalities, they have this kind of blanketed way of looking at it. Well, why don't you get over it already? Which, in one end, I understand that, because we always have to evolve and to ascend. And the truth about being human from a spiritual standpoint is to let go of your humanity. We align with humanity, but the truth about ascension is when you understand that all of these individual things are just noise, and it's when you can see someone being treated unfairly, or when you can see the atrocities of the world, but you can still be cool and level-headed about it. This is what transcends you from your humanity, because humanity is usually living within the emotional trauma or the emotional commands that are coming in into your field daily. So the truth is, we expand past this thing called humanity, right? We transcend that. But what we're truly looking at with this war or disagreement, we're taking a look and we're kind of opening up cellular memory located within our DNA. So just a lesson on DNA, even your genomes, we have genomes DNA, right? we have celestial DNA, we have cosmic DNA, and all of this holds records. And in order for it to imprint a record or a stamp, it has to have the substance of life, which is water. So, what we are truly looking at, we are looking at a template. And what we're doing is we are opening up some of those DNA. Now, your genomes can live up to 500 years after you pass away. So, me being Black American, my ancestors are still alive. My ancestors who were here prior to this country being formed, my ancestors who fought, who survived, who bled, who died, all of that resilience and all of that pain and all of the prosperity and all of the resilience is still living. Not only does it live inside of me, but when I walk on the land, my code's activated. And this is why a lot of melanated people, they really love nature a lot, because it's those imprints from our ancestors that are truly still living. They truly are still living. So I wanted to point that out. So what we're looking at is some imprints going on within our DNA that is unhealed. What the DNA is saying, and I actually did a past life regression where there was a lady who we were looking into a lifetime where she saw people come off the shore of, I think it was West Africa, to enslave her tribe, her village, her people. She was left behind. She did not get taken. Part of her family got taken to the Americas, and part of her family did not. And what we were exploring within that was a part of her that was taken and a part of her that was left behind. This is what I'm saying. This is the energy we're under to now open up these large templates. And we're saying there's a part of us that's not whole. Even though we are a separate group of people, we do share DNA. Just as Black Americans share DNA with Caucasian people here in this country. And like I always say, if you want to ascend, you're not going to ascend leaving any part of yourself behind. So as of earlier this year, I said, Black people, your white DNA has something to say. And I listened into what the DNA had to say, and it said, I'm sorry. And so now this is an opportunity for Africans and African Americans, and even somewhat extends to all, members of the diaspora, even in the Caribbeans and in Brazil and actually all over the world. What we're looking at, this template is able to be opened, right? And what we're kind of looking at is the shame and the blame. Some people are on a DNA level, on a cellular level, are saying, I wish I could have did more. And some people, to be honest with you, now that I'm channeling this, some people's DNA is saying, I wish I was taken. Some African people, within their DNA, or this could actually be a Black American, but part of their roots, part of their African DNA is saying, I wish I was taken. So when I talk about destiny swap, it's not like that. So what it is we are scripted people. We have life scripts. Our life script is, predicated on what is going on within our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind holds different traumas and different sort of associations, known and unknown associations, right? It will actually hold your ancestral memories as well, whether they be good or bad, right? And so what I'm feeling in this moment of reflection is that there are some African DNA that is saying, why wasn't I taken? And, you know, I think it's to be fair, I think we can see that within a lot of people, a lot of African people, when they come to this country, they have a certain mindset and a certain mentality. And I think that this is causing for me to play um, a TikTok right now. And so you guys can kind of understand where I'm coming from, but we're building, and this thing is going to get deep, and we're going to go back to why the African American name is now, it's going to be a problem, because some people now believe that the Africans that came over and that, you know, naturalized here or received their green card, they're calling them African American. So essentially what we are getting is a destiny swap scenario, where all of the blood, sweat, and tears and the heartache and everything for over the past 400-500 years that the Black American ancestors have fought for, bled for, died for, is now all of that. They're allowing a, you know, let's say the superimposing an African you know, face on top of that. So in the future, our history will be lost yet again. It will be dissolved like it was before. And we're going to talk about, you know, during the time with the American Indians, of how that was a whole psyop to go ahead and to replace the Aboriginals here, and about the $5 Indians. This is what I'm saying. This is happening right before our faces, and at the core of it is money. At the core of it is the $1.7 trillion of spending power and the reparations, right? And so this is what we're seeing. But let me quickly play this for you guys. And I hope that you can hear it, and let me know if you can't.
Wrong.
I'm from America. That's what we're saying. Just like a Jamaica, just like a no, hold on. Just like somebody from Jamaica, they're not going to say what country in Africa they're from. Somebody in Haiti is not going to say what country from. They're going to say they're Haitian
because they were closer from, what is it called, the triangular slave
but
trade.
then when you ask them that question, they're not going to have a definitive answer.
That's because they're already in their own community of Caribbeans, the Haitians, Jamaicans. They're all like in one bowl. But
Black Americans are in their own bowl as well. Like that's what I'm saying. Why are we getting questioned?
That's why Africans feel that way, because they feel like, because you don't know where you come from, which is not by fault by Africans.
We know where we come from. We come from America, just like Jamaicans. I guess it's just more come from Jamaica. Like, what is the difference?
I think it's just more relatable from an African to see another African and be like, oh, where you come from? Oh, I'm from Ghana. I'm from this place. And they know so much about their culture because they do this, and this. So I feel like that's why they feel like you know so much about your culture in Africa. So that's what they're like, well, Americans don't know, because honestly, you guys don't know. When Africans come to America, they're busting their behinds to get degrees, become doctors, lawyers, and stuff like that. So when Africans look at African Americans, they're like, these people have credit cards. We don't even have credit cards. These people are not even working, and we come here and we busting our asses. Now we're doing this. We're now 6 figures, and these people have all these years to become all these great jobs and careers, and they're not doing anything. I'm just saying this is what they're saying. Yeah, this is the conversation. It's like, y'all have all this time to get free money, free loans, and we don't get that back at home.
Yeah, but
y'all get that when y'all come here, though.
Exactly, and guess what? We're right here, and y'all are still here.
There's a lot of grants and loans and different situations.
The people from here is not getting them loans that y'all come here and get, though.
You said what you just said?
No, I said there's a lot of.
That's the point that they're proving. The people here are not even getting it. So it's like, what are y'all doing?
No, I'm saying the black people here are not getting them same opportunities that y'all come from y'all Africa and come here and get. We don't get those.
We're considering not just Africans, everybody, all the other countries are considering y'all as being lazy, because it's like, why aren't y'all getting these? Like, why y'all not busting y'all asses? Y'all should be better than the Chinese. If y'all Americans, y'all should be better than America. Y'all should be better than Chinese people who coming over here.
But we. And the thing is,
my question is, what are the opportunities that you think that we have over?
That's different, right?
The grants, the loans, the scholarships, and stuff.
We're getting more than you guys.
I don't understand what. No, I've never heard of anything.
Are y'all seeing what's going on with the immigrants right now and how the benefits that they're?
In Africa, are you from?
Oh God. Okay. All right. So guys, did you guys hear that? Let me know if you heard that. I didn't know if I was sharing that or not. Yep. Let me know if you guys heard that or not. So someone hold on. Ola, I don't know. Someone in the chat is saying, stop lying. You are heavily mixed with white. Just make money on YouTube. No problem, white girl. That's hilarious. Okay. Anywho, so you know, what's funny is that, you know, I'm truly here to bridge the gap. This is what I'm here. You heard it. Okay. So this is, you know, and it's really funny because this is the general consensus, right? On how this lady feels. Now, I've watched the whole thing before, and it's funny because this lady, I do believe she's actually half African American, right? And you can hear her American accent, but it's hilarious because, you know, this is the general consensus. So as of when spirit tells me, when I listen into it, into the energy, the DNA, there are some people or some of the DNA is saying, why wasn't I taken? And I wanted to play that for you to give some context into how that is playing out verbally, which she, you know, even though, you know, I thought that was stupid, girl, but you know, I respect your opinion because it is your opinion, and it's, you know, and you have a right to have your opinion. But this is what a lot of the rhetoric is that Black Americans are lazy, and that they had all this time to, like she said, become all this big jobs and stuff. And that, you know, when Africans come over here, then they essentially, you know, hustle and they work a million jobs, and then they get over, you know, ahead over African Americans. So that's kind of what she was saying. I want to give some context to that on the back end, right? So what you must understand is that the ancestors, the Black American ancestors, I don't know if you heard of slavery, right? I think you heard of this thing called slavery. And, you know, then it flowed into indentured servitude, and then it flowed into Jim Crow, and it flowed into everything where you were always behind the 8 ball. So the thing that you are wanting and saying that African Americans are too lazy to do, it's because we have already done it. Hence the reason why you're even able to come to this country. If it wasn't for everything that these ancestors have done, then there would be no immigration, and not just from the continent of Africa. I'm talking all over the world as it pertains to, you know, melanated people. So the thing that you're asking, because you have to understand, guys, we strip this away. We are DNA. Your life script, the things that you talk about and you speak about and your behaviors is simply a markup of everything that your history, your lineage has ever been through. So the very thing that she's saying, well, why aren't you guys doing this, is because we are tired. This is DNA now. This is spirit. This is spiritually speaking. I think you would be tired. You'd be tired after all them years. We tired. Time for a rest, you know? So, you know, I'm just giving some context here. And furthermore, you know, and guys, so I'll give some context within myself. So first of all, I have an auntie. She is Nigerian. She is a beautiful soul. Love her to death. I have cousins that are half Nigerian, right? Now, she did come over she lived in Europe, in London, before she came over here. So she's been here for what, 30, 40 years. But nevertheless, you know, she is still Nigerian. I also was in a Nigerian family for over 10 years. So I can speak from my own personal experience. And some of the energy is literally energy that I felt as well. So I just wanted to point that out. Now, I'm going to get back to why the term African American is literally the biggest energy heist that is about to happen. It's the biggest hijack. And in truth, it ain't got nothing to do with Africans against African Americans. We are both about to be used. Some may get a little bit more out of this, but it's a whole energy heist that's going on. And they did the same thing with the American Indians. They did the same exact thing. Now, I don't even know if this Ola chick is still on the chat, but y'all know I'm spiritual, but I kind of like to get it in. But you know, I'm not even going to I don't know. It's crazy. So she's like, you're heavily mixed with white. How do you know that? How do you know that? And even if I was, what's wrong with that? And even if I was, can I not speak on my Aboriginal, on my indigenous DNA? And that's the whole point of what we're trying to make, Ola. Hi, Miss Sonia. The whole point of what we're trying to make, Ola, thank you, is the fact is Black Americans are their own special class of people. We're not African. We're something different. We are a admixture of indigenous Americans, not to be confused with Native Americans. See, I got to give you a history lesson, Ola. Seem like you don't know the history here. And actually, this is a ring light. I'm showing up white, but I'm caramel colored skin, by the way. So anywho, and even it don't even matter. Even if I was with totally white skin, that's the whole point. What we're trying to say is that the Black American, African American, foundational Black American, we are an admixture of a lot of different things. And you can't, like, let me build. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys something because I think it will explain it a little bit better. I ain't gonna get too much off into her. You know, some people, they just ignorant, and we got to school them. You know, we got to bring them there slowly. They slow in consciousness. So I get it. I understand that. And so, by the way, I want to point something out for you guys. I want you to pause here and do a check-in with your heart, the rhythm. This is how you know you've been psyoped, Ola. This is how you know you've been psyoped. And this happens a lot in religion as well. You can talk to people about anything, but when you start to talk to people about race, religion, or sometimes even finances, then there is something that rises up within them. It's an energy that rises up. They don't know where it's coming from. And it leaves them with an unsettled feeling. And a lot of the time it affects the heart space. This is how you know that there is an entity attached to this. So this whole race psyop, there's an entity attached to it, keeping you separate. And remember, if you're fragmented, you can't ascend. This is the whole point that I'm trying to make. So now, I want to show you guys this. A little history on Black Aboriginal Americans.
See, the sooner y'all realize Pocahontas descended from this man, the sooner y'all understand what we, so-called Black Americans, mean when we say we descend from and thus are the Amerindians, the Paleo-Indians, the American Indians, whatever you call the indigenous inhabitants, not to be confused with the politically orchestrated and federally recognized Native Americans. They like to put these prefixes on our names, but they know who we are. And now we know who we are. Have you ever wondered why they fought so hard to keep us from knowing who we were? It's because we weren't exactly civil. By 1670, Slavs and servants were banding together to rebel.
I'm going to point something out in a minute.
Virginia passed 2 acts that combined, quote, Native Americans and Africans into a single racial category.
Did you hear that? In 1682, Virginia passed. Now, mind you, America wasn't formed yet. America was formed in 1776. This already proves we were already here. In 1682, Virginia passed 2 acts that combined Native Americans. Who are Native Americans? Native Americans are people that migrated from Asia around 15,000 years ago. They settled on this land and we cohabited together for all of that time. But in 1682, prior to the formation of the United States of America, Ola, are you listening? Wake up. Class is in session. Prior to 1682, Virginia One of the first 13 colonies passed 2 acts combining Native Americans. And this is how you get how we say that we are, you know, Asiatic people, because we also have not only Aboriginal, more Negro American. There was Black Indian, Red Indian, and Yellow Indian. Spirit ain't never lied. Ola, I need you to take notes, baby girl. I belong to all of those categories. Black, Negro, Indian, Red Indian, Cherokee, Shoshone Indian, Yellow Indian. But 1682, they combined Native Americans and Africans. Who are the Africans? These are how we get when we talk about the transatlantic slave trade. People that came over from Africa. Now, we know the bulk of Africans actually went to Caribbeans and in Brazil. Actually, this land of America did not get as many African slaves as the other parts of the Americas, right? But nevertheless, they were combined. So when I tell you we are an admixture of Native American, and I'm going to include the Negro Black Indians, Red Indian, and Yellow Indian, right? Now get what it says here. It says, specifically addressing the status of Native Americans and the other who were previously considered to be free. It established that individuals, whether Negro, Moors, remember the Moors, mulattoes, which we could also call colored people. We were also called colored, and then Indians. These are all names that Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, this subtitle shell company, African American. These are all titles that they would classify us as. So we could be classified as Native American, Negroes, Moors, mulattoes, Indians, right? But get this. It established that individuals, whether Negro, which is black Aboriginal. When I told you the 3 classifications of the different Indians, Black Indian, Red Indian, and Yellow Indian. Whether Negro, whether Moors. Moors, what? Came from Morocco, right? These are the Moors were the you know, pretty much the what I'm calling the Aboriginals. The Aboriginals are the Moors. So whether you were Negro, which was Indian actually, or Moor, or mulatto, for the one who said I'm white, or mulatto, which is colored, which is mixed, yes, with white, or Indian, who were not Christians at the time of their purchase, and who parentage and native country were not Christians, were to be considered slaves. Wait, I want to point something out to you. So regardless of who you were, whether you're mulatto, Negro, Moors, Indians, if you were, baby, not a Christian, you're going to be considered a slave. So really, what truly is enslaving us? Right here, it clearly says Christianity is your captivity. That's what it said. I just got a conscious mind to go ahead and understand what it's talking about. It says here, if you were not Christian, it didn't matter what you was. And notice how it didn't even give reference to any sort of Caucasian people. This is prior to the United States being formed. So these were the people that were here, guys. And what we're looking at is the people on the other side passing out all of these rules would be the colonizers that came. But the only reason why they're passing out these rules is because these are the people that were on the land prior to the formation of the country. Okay, sorry. Y'all know I'm dramatic, right? So let's go on.
Well, if you were Christian, you could be held captive. I heard some people think they were only enslaving black people. Like, you were from Africa, if you were a slave. Don't even get me started on the 1700s when they started using terms like black and Indian and mulatto synonymously. See this?
Okay, but she said something very key. She said, don't think they were just enslaving Africans, right? Remember the one drop rule? If you had a single drop of black ancestry, then you were considered black. So this is how we got lighter people on those plantations as well. And remember, if you weren't going to say you were a Christian, then you was going to be a slave. That's just what it was. So based on this, there are also white passing slaves as well. People with, they could have a high, a high percentage of Caucasian blood. But if they had a drop of black, then, and they weren't no Christian, then they're going to be enslaved too. Okay. So I just wanted to point that out. So I hope I made that clear, for the people in the back. I hope I made that clear. And I always have to ask you guys once again, if you heard that, let me know if you heard that. Let me know if you heard that. Okay, perfect. I'm going to check and see if this is going. Okay. So now you get a little history about who we are, right? So we are a people who have our own culture. And at the core, to be honest, of our culture is Christianity. Because as it outlines, girl, if you wasn't going to be Christian, then you was going to be a slave. But the gag is, I guess we were a slave anyway, regardless if you accepted Christianity. So that didn't truly work out well. But nevertheless, so now you see the multi-dimensional, Black American. It's not as just as saying, oh, you're African because some people came over from Africa a long time ago. Do you know there were even Africans that came here prior to the transatlantic slave trade? So what I'm saying is, there isn't any place, if you look at the entire globe, there isn't any place that Black people, so to speak, were not. But we are a very, we're very proud admixture of all of these things. And yes, that does include Caucasian, because we know the story about the rape and the pillage on the plantations. Like, let's not act. Hola, whatever you Hola, sorry, girl. You open yourself up for this, girl. So I'm gonna roll with it. I'm having fun. I'm playing with you. I'm having fun with you. So so essentially, this is the admixture. And so now when you say, a lot of people, and I'm gonna play this for you because people don't know that African Americans, people think that African Americans are literally Africans that immigrated here. And I'm going to tell you, it's getting weird because there are people on the continent that truly don't know. And so this is where we get the destiny swap situation, because essentially there's a group of people where I just outlined, we're completely different. We are admixture of like 4 to 5 different racial classifications. And this is what makes up this group of people. And we can even extend that into the Caribbeans. They would be very similar because they had, they also had Native American, they had Indian there, they had, actually African, African slaves brought there. They had the, colonizers, they had the Caucasians. So they are also too an admixture. But for some reason, people just only talk about the Black Americans, because there's a reason for that. And there's a spiritual reason for that. I mean, more than likely it's because America is like, is the world superpower. I think, we know that the plan is to shift this into Africa. And this is truly the whole point of this video, is because we have to look at it from a bird's eye view of what truly is going on. And at the end of it, see, they're having Africans and African Americans fighting, when in truth, the whole thing is to siphon and Africans and African Americans. You will not be receiving anything. The whole thing is that when the corporations go belly up, these countries that are corporations, they created a shell company called African American to put things inside of it. And they're going to parlay that into now developing the land that they spent hundreds of years, Africa, the continent of Africa, that they spent a great deal of time oppressing. And so now, now that, you know, they've siphoned everything over here, they're going to snowball all of that off of the backs of the Black Americans into the continent of Africa. And they are using some Africans to do it. They don't know they're being used. They're using some African Americans too. They don't know they're being used. This is the point. I'm playing spiritual chess. This is the whole point that I'm just trying to make. And it gets deep. So now I want to, there's so much going on, guys, but I want to share with you now what I keep talking about. People are confused about African Americans. This is why people are pivoting away and they're going to foundational Black Americans or just Black American. I like to be called Negro, because Negro, Indian, like that's what we were called. And back then, Negro, if you knew you were called Negro, it was actually meant Indian. Like, you can't be from two continents. You can't be from Africa and be from America all at the same time. It's a made-up title. It does not exist. It's not real. It's not real. And this is why, you know, I'm about to get into the Moors. This is why you got to have your proper status, because you can't be African and be American all at the same time. And you can't be a skin color, a crayon as well. So I'm going to play this for you guys. And this is, it's just a little snippet from this African sister who has this channel, and she reviews like TikToks and whatnot. But she genuinely didn't understand when she was saying African Americans. She was using African Americans as African people from the continent that have immigrated here. And so this is where the confusion, I'm telling you, it's about to become a $5 Indian situation all over again. And how I'm here to tell you that there's something very special about this group of people called Black Americans. Is like, why do we, and it doesn't look like it, because yes, I've been afforded amazing opportunities, you know, and I love my country. I love America. Matter of fact, when I came back from Africa and I was in Nigeria for about a month, I kissed the ground. Then I was in Paris and all of that. I don't even care. Even if you go to Paris and how beautiful Paris is, when you come back to the United States, you will kiss the ground. Because it's home. This is the home. This is the land where my ancestors fought and died and bled. And they fought not just for self, they fought for equality for all, because we are an admixture of a lot of different nationalities. We fought for the right for immigration. We literally died. We did not leave our country. We did not go and run anywhere. We fought and we died. And so there one lady was talking down on Black Americans, and she's an idiot, by the way. I had to say that because she really is. I don't care if this woman has any degrees. She lacks consciousness, and she's nothing more than a bot to me, a matrix bot. She's an idiot. She's a fool. Sorry, I had to say it because this is just an honest observation, right? So the whole point is that there's a level of respect you must have when the very fact that you're here and you're able to drain the American dollar, because let's be honest of what goes on. And we don't say nothing. When immigrants come here, they work hard to send money back to their country. And as they should. When Black Americans work hard, our money cycles back into America. And this is the difference. We're not draining America to siphon out, to make another place great, because this is our homeland. This is our homeland. At the core, and even Black Americans, I'm gonna get on you, at the core, you are American, because where does your loyalty or your money, which is your energy, where does it go? It goes back into not cycling within the Black community, It stays in the Black community. The Black dollar only stays in the Black community for about 6 hours, and then it goes into the greater, society, right, of America. So this is where your loyalty is. And I don't care if you are a Pan-African or whatever, but your loyalty is where your energy is, and your currency, because your money is where you put your energy to make the money. And so it flows back into America. So this is who you are. And this, just spiritually speaking, this is where you put your energy at. So I want to go ahead and play this for you guys really quickly. And I thought I could do this video short, but girl, it just ain't possible. It ain't possible. Let's take a look at this. It's an honest mistake. Honest mistake.
Then let's just see this random video that just popped out on my For You page. Check it out.
What is going on with Africans between African Americans?
It is none of your business. Why do you want to know? Why do you want to know what is going on between African Americans and Black Americans? I mean, you are not Black. What's your business? Now,
wait, did you guys hear that? Did you catch it? This is dangerous. Did you catch what she just said? Let me run that back. Let me run that back. And she doesn't know. She honestly does not know what she just did, but it's a cardinal sin.
Do you want to know what is going on between African Americans and Black Americans? I mean, you.
Did you guys hear that? This is going to be a problem. When I say it's going to be a problem, she literally just said, why do you want to know what's going on between African Americans and Black Americans? African Americans and Black Americans are the same people, just as Negro, Moor, mulatto, all of those things we just listed are all describing the same group of people. She didn't know. She's talking about African Americans as if they're not the Black Americans. It was in this moment I understood. I was like, this is a shell company. And what we're seeing is they built this template of African American. They build it out. And now what they're doing is they are separating the Black American from the African American. And in some regards, we are helping them do it, because now, and as we should, because you can't be African and be American all at the same time. It does not exist. It does not exist. But on the flip side, guys, we have to understand that they're using this against us. She genuinely did not know that African Americans and Black Americans are the same. So what we have here is a person from the continent, it seems like, that is literally saying that Africans are African Americans and that Black people, foundational Black Americans, are Black Americans. So essentially what she's done in that moment is erased all of the hundreds and even thousands of years of our ancestors' blood, sweat, tears, fight, grit, pain, trauma. She's dissolved that onto Africans. And if this continues, even though she honestly didn't know, I don't believe she meant to cause no harm. I don't believe that. But if this continues, what you're going to have is the Africans now standing in the energy of what African Americans built. Whether an African American lifts a single finger from here on out, baby, trust and believe we've already done it. We lead the culture. Even the things that we perceive to be white culture, a lot of this came from African Americans, because mind you, we were here prior to them coming. If you go back to literature within the 1500s, they will already tell you that there was a dark race already on this land, and prior to Christopher Columbus. If you just do a little bit of research, you won't even have to do much, and you can figure that out. So whether we lift another finger, we've already created an amazing country. We've already fought for the right for people to come here and to have, if it wasn't for Black Americans, there would be no American dream. If it wasn't for our ancestors dying There would be no American dream. If it wasn't for the work that we did, you wouldn't even have the template to come over here and do what you do. You're doing what you do because you are following the vibration of what the ancestors have left behind. This is what I'm saying. And it's very important to know that. So when she makes this mistake calling African Americans, it is a monumental mistake. Because it's saying to my ancestors that created this whole system, that died for this, that they are forgotten. And remember, I told you, the DNA, even when you bury a body, the genomes, the DNA, the genome stay alive for at least 500 years. My ancestors are very much alive. We are not dead. So this is what I'm saying. That is a cardinal mistake of what she's done. And I know she didn't mean to. She genuinely doesn't know. This is the dangerous about. This is why Black Americans are talking about delineating, because the thing about it is it's about lineage. Now that we have to have this conversation now that there's a lot of, and even in some regards, I'm not even sure if Hispanic people feel this way, because there's so many different people. There's, you got your Cubans, you got your, you got your Puerto Ricans, and then you got your Mexicans, and then you got the people from South America. Like, they all have different cultures. You can't just lump everyone. If I ask any of my African friends, I don't care if they're first generation, they will literally say, when someone asks them where they're from, they're going to give their country. I'm Ethiopian, I'm Kenyan, I'm South African. They will never say they are American. And even if they're born here, they won't say it. They won't. And you and I both know. You and I both know that what I'm saying is true. They will not say that, because the loyalty is to the continent. It's to the blood. You can't discount the DNA and the blood that runs through you. You can't discount that. But why do y'all want us to discount who we are on this soil? If we discount that, we discount all of the work that our ancestors have done. So if no one else has to discount it, if everyone else can name their country of origin, even though they were born in this country, then why can't we say that we are foundational Black Americans, Aboriginals, Moors, Amaroukans? Do you see what I'm saying? But no, they had to create this fictitious thing called African American because they already had the plan. They had the plan. This was their get out of jail card. And I'm telling you, Black people have been used since the beginning of time, because what do I always say do they want? They want essence. And you wonder why? Why is everybody getting down on Black Americans all the time? It's because of the energy you hold, because you are from the lineage of Yahudah, of Yeshua, from the tribe of Judah. You are an Israelite. This is who you are. And I'm talking spiritually speaking. This is why. And they have to keep your energy in circulation in order to create what we create. We create worlds. African American culture is one of the few cultures that is forever evolving. It's not something that's set in stone. It's something that we get to create daily as we recreate and as we renew ourselves and as we expand. So does our culture. It is a multi-dimensional culture that, in fact, if you go to any place in this world, you can see remnants of our culture. When I stayed in France for a while, they were playing R&B all throughout. Every restaurant I went into, they were playing smooth R&B in the background. It was just that little hint of that we bring. And I'm just being honest. So like I said, whether we lift another finger, baby, we've already done it. We've already done it. Now build. We've already done it. But this shell company of African American is a problem. It's going to be a massive problem, is what I'm saying. And now I want to point something out to you here. Let me just play these few TikToks here.
Americans community, not Black American community, two different communities. Is it crack? Like, what is it? You trying to play with me? You trying to play in my face right now? First of all,
did you hear that?
She said
Listen.
African Americans community, not Black American community. Two different communities.
Do you hear that? It wasn't just the one sister from, from the continent. This is now somebody else. African American community, not Black American community. Two different communities. No, we are the same. Do you see what they're doing? They're stealing our identity. And it's not, and I'm not blaming this on Africans. I'm telling you, this thing was set up since the 1980s, since they introduced this fraudulent category of African American. It was always set up as a shell company. And I'm going to tell you how they're going to siphon it in the end. But it's working because people truly don't know that African American and Black American is the same. Just as people don't know that Aboriginals and Moors are the same. Negro is Indian. Black American are the same. And then guess what? Now when you tell people I'm Indian, they look at you like you're crazy because what? Back what I showed you, that got dissolved. They coupled together the Native Americans and the Africans back in what? The 1600s, 1700s. And so this is how your culture gets lost. And this is how other cultures wear the skin of you. You cannot wear the skin of my ancestors. I'm sorry, this is where it stops. And I have to bring a strong correction to this because what you don't know is that the blood of the Black ancestors are the reason why this whole earth has not exploded and imploded on itself because of the codes that we hold, because we are from direct descendants of Yeshua. This is why, and this is why they want your essence. They want your essence because we create worlds. And I'm not talking about just here on earth. I'm talking about what we do spiritually. What our celestial and cosmic DNA does is create worlds. And this is why we are the world reserve culture. This is why we are the culture, because we create worlds, spiritually speaking. And so this person doesn't also know that African American and Black Americans are the same thing, because it's the largest energy heist that is about to happen yet again, not on my watch.
Is it crack? Like, what is it? You trying to play with me? You trying to play in my face right now? First of all, Black Americans were coined African American. It was popularized in 1988 by Jesse Jackson. We've been renamed and reclassified in this country a few times, sometimes even without our consent. We know exactly who she was talking about when she said African American. She was talking about Black Americans that were here before the inception of this country. If she mentioned can't be deported, who she talking about? If you're an African, you can be deported. I'm not an African. I am a United States of America citizen. So what group of Black people can't be deported? Caribbeans could be deported back to their countries. Black Brits could be deported. Africans could be deported to their countries back over on the continent. Let's not play stupid. Like, don't be dense. Like, y'all are really trying it. This is why we have to stop calling ourselves African American. Because now all of a sudden y'all really trying to destiny swap and co-opt our lived experience. She also said people that have experience with civil rights movements. Who did that? Black Americans. And that's why you're able to migrate over here right now and walk around freely, because of Black Americans. The ones that were born here, the ones who have a long lineage here. Not first gen, not second gen, not even third gen. I'm talking about the ones that were here before this country was established.
She said it.
Stop fucking playing with me.
She know her history.
Get out my comments. Y'all getting on my nerves.
All right. So you got to love when people know their history, because when you know your history, they can't come and bamboozle you and give you a false history. And to be honest with you, a lot of Black Americans, they can give you a false history because, I'll be honest, a lot of Black Americans have tried to, kind of get out of, out of the trauma by just disassociating. But that doesn't work, because what's happening is we're looking at one of the largest energy heists that's about to happen yet again. But the difference is now what they're going to do is to take your 1.7 trillion spending power coupled along with your reparations, and they're going to take that, put it into the shell company, and siphon it to the continent of Africa, where no, the Africans will not be ahead of this thing. It will be the same people that have reseated themselves in the seat of power throughout time. That the only difference now, they've moved the money through this vehicle called African American. They've siphoned that, because what they truly want, remember what I said, your money, how you make your money, you pour your energy into it, and your energy is your currency. It's energetic currency. And the truth is, they want your essence. Your energy is your essence, because who we are, because we are from the tribe of Judah, because we are the tribe led by Yahuda, Yeshua. Then in truth, this is the energy powering the new world that they are trying to create. So when someone, just know that when you get a bill in the mail, you think it's about that bill. You think some of these bills are created just to siphon your energy. You have to know that. You think all this redlining, or when they give, Black people higher interest rates, you think it's just because your credit is a little down. No, the system is been built so good. You won't understand this unless you can play spiritual chess. It's to siphon your kinetic God energy from you. So even if I get a parking ticket, if you get any sort of weird bill, call your energy back. That's what it's for, to siphon your energy. It's to siphon your energy. And this is what I am saying is what is slowly snowballing here. They want to siphon your energy. And how they want to siphon your energy, now all of a sudden, I guess, the 6th region of Africa is the African diaspora. I want you to take a look at this. I'm telling you, they are building. When I say that the African American is a shell, and look at what they're doing. They're saying that we are going to add the people that don't live on the continent. Mind you, we don't live on the continent, but they want the money from all over the African diaspora. So it means that even the people living in Australia that are of African descent, they want to somehow be able to get your money to the continent of Africa. Maybe this energy heist is happening in other countries. I don't know. I can just tell you about the African American, vehicle that they have created to siphoning money. See, guys, you have to know something about business. See, these people don't pay taxes who have these large corporations. And the United States is a corporation. You have to know that. Actually, most of these countries, all of these countries are corporations, and this is how they are led. So what I'm saying is, when you want to avoid paying taxes, you can't technically take that money out of the company and put it into your bank. Now it becomes taxable income. But what you can do is transfer assets or do something called a rollover, where you haven't technically sold off that asset. So technically you can't be taxed for it. This is what they're doing. It's a snowball effect, is what they're doing with the African American vehicle that they've been building. And so what's going in there as the 6th region of Africa, right? And Black Americans are part of the diaspora is what they would actually say as well. So that means that it's the same thing in business. They're just putting you in there. They're already doing it. Now you part of the 6th region, girl, even though you don't live there and ain't never lived on the continent a day in your life, even though you're a different culture, girl, they found a way to siphon, because they are pushing paperwork, is what I am saying. Spirit ain't just never lied. Spirit ain't never just lied.
The African Union officially has 6 regions, but the last one isn't even on the continent, which might surprise you. You see, we've got Southern Africa, Eastern Africa, Central Africa, Western Africa, Northern Africa, and last but not least, the diaspora. So, power to the 6, those at home and abroad. But if people in all the 6 regions struggle to freely move around the continent due to visa restrictions, doesn't that defeat the purpose? just asking for a friend.
Do you hear that? Baby, not only do you got to pay your taxes to America, but it looked like they just volunteered you to pay taxes over to Africa too. When I tell you the African American title was a shell company set up for them to siphon what? To siphon still from Yeshua, tribe of Israel, to siphon your kinetic God energy, your money, and everything that is owed to you. And now they're taking it to their new cash cow, Africa. And so the beef within the Africans and the African Americans now become what? Secondary. Because this is what they always do. They always got to distract you over here. Meanwhile, they're working in the background over here. And you got to catch the game. You got to catch it. So that's already going on. So I wanted you guys to know that. Also, too, now I'm going to show you something else. Now we're going to talk about the spending power of the Black Americans here.
Yesterday, but because the algorithm was not pushing it out, I went ahead and deleted it. And another content creator tried to make the same video and their account got shut down. So in an effort to not allow that to happen to this page, we're just gonna say that this is just only for entertainment purposes only, all right? But I found this article. It's on the Africa Report. It's titled Answering the Call. It says a diaspora initiative looks to tap into 1.7 trillion African Americans' purse. Really? I've seen this fathead bastard before. On African American buying power could reach 1.7 trillion by 2030, projects the McKinsey Institute for Black Economic Mobility, but only a tiny fraction of it is currently ending up in Africa. Wonder how it's getting over there. With the African Union AU and Joe Biden administration both promoting the diaspora as a key potential source of funding for the continent, a coalition of Black business leaders is coming together to help turn things around. This article is from October 18th of 2023, by the way. It says a few dozen investors and U.S. government officials attending the launch at the South African Embassy in Washington, D.C. said this is an opportunity for us to take diaspora wealth and redirect it to include the continent.
What?
It says in 2012, the AU adopted the diaspora as the sixth region of Africa and described it as consisting of people of African origin living outside the continent, irrespective of their citizenship and nationality, and who are willing to contribute to the development of the continent and the building of the African Union. So, you want us to help build your shit? Who signed us up for this? When were we gonna get the memo? Y'all need to take y'all boots off the ground. Whatever feelings that y'all have against us when it comes to Trump, I'm really hoping that y'all put it to the side, because this involves all of us, okay? On some real sneaky shit behind the scenes when it comes to the Black community in this country. So it's time for us to do them how you guys did Target. We'll go to the braid shops, we'll go to the restaurants. It's time for us to start learning how we can reclassify ourselves, completely disconnect, because they're trying to tap into our purse. And we can't let that happen now, can we?
Did you hear what she said? They're bold to saying, how can we redirect this money, the $1.7 trillion of spending power that the Black Americans have? How can we redirect that to Africa? They literally told us that. Why would we redirect our wealth to a place that we are not from? The whole point of being America is to build America. If we siphon our money out to another place, then that's what I'm saying. This is how now it gets, guys, it's getting bigger. I think they have plans to shut America down. Now, there's two agendas. She even said Joe Biden started this in 2023. We didn't get the memo. They're literally making plans to tap into the Black American $1.7 trillion worth of spending power. This is where the beef started from. It didn't start from no nonsense. So this, when they're talking about boycotting hair shops and restaurants and stuff, that's really on a small scale, because how often do you really truly get your hair done and braided? And in truth, Black Americans, we can braid our own hair. We've been braiding hairs for centuries. Like, I know it's convenient, but the whole thing is that is small. That's not where this is about. And this is where they have Black Americans and Africans kind of fighting. When I want y'all to come up here where I am and play spiritual chess, because something ain't right. They're using both people. And I believe that maybe the Democrats, or half of the world, or half of the elites rather, I think they want to shut down America, siphon the money out through the African-American vehicle that they've been using and they've been creating for all this time. And look, they even now got it, it's not in law, but this is part of, this is part of the plan of, and they're not hiding it. It's like literally written down, and you can actually go and read it for yourself. So I think they're planning to take all of these resources and now start over in Africa. And it will not be the Africans, mind you, it will not be the Africans in charge, because as you know, most of the African leaders are bought and paid for. Sorry, it's just the truth. And this is why, Africans can't really use their own resources, is because they have contracted out their resources to the West, right? And to the Chinese. This is a problem. And so, 54 countries within Africa, Africans are truly even more divided because they have something called tribalism. And so I don't care. You can be a Fulani, and you can be, all these different tribes. They will be like right there living in close proximity to each other, fighting, when in truth, that's also another trick set up by the same people who now created this African-American vehicle. They set up and reinforce these tribes and tribalism. And I know, because like I said, I have people, I used to be part of a Nigerian family, and I have Nigerian people in my family. So I can at least speak from that country, right? So what I'm saying is, when people want to take something from you, they don't start just last week. No, they start from, look how long they've been slow cooking this by changing and reclassifying Black Americans' name. They've been slow cooking this thing since the 1600s. Since the inception of when America was formed, they've been slow cooking this. How many, with all of the 54 countries divided in Africa, some are under, Dutch reign, some are under, Spanish, some are under French control, right? They slow cook this thing. And so now, and then they give you tribes. And then they tell you, they give the one tribes, they give them just a little edge, right? So then it keeps discourse happening in between the other tribes. And it's all about fighting for resources and fighting for scraps. When in truth, when you zone out, the continent is so rich, you should never need anything. You should never have to be put in a position to leave your country. If your leaders weren't in bed with these people. And I'm saying they've been in bed with these people for a very long time. So it ain't about, this is just, this is small level. The small level chess y'all think y'all making. Oh, we're going to boycott this and that. But really what we got to do, I'm going to tell you the solution. What we got to do is get into this African-American. This title needs to be dissolved. This title has to be dissolved. Because the thing about it, there are people right now who don't understand that African Americans are Black Americans. So right now, essentially, there are Africans who have gotten all the achievements of African Americans. And it's only a short time until you forget who you were. And remember, this has happened before when they reclassified you from Indian Black Americans, Foundation of Black Americans, when they reclassified you from Indian to Negro to colored, and then to, African American later in 1988, circa Jesse Jackson. And then how many years? You don't even remember that you're Indian. You don't remember that you're Aboriginal. You don't remember. And so now the people that we're calling, the 5 civilized tribes, the people that they set apart, the Native Americans. So what they did, it's the same playbook, guys. You have to understand this. You have to play spiritual chess. It's the same playbook. So they separated some of the tribes, some of the red Indian and yellow Indian, and the black Indian, Negro Indian. They took those people to the plantations, right? Then they brought in some Africans too. There were already dark people here, and you can read about this prior to Columbus. He gives his account of what he saw when he did a preliminary sort of viewing of this land here. He saw people with Negroid features, essentially. So what they did was they purposely separated, the same thing they're doing now. See, they always have to have a buffer class, right? And because the goal, what's the goal? The goal is to use the energy of a certain group of people, which, as we know, is Black Americans. This is because they want essence. The essence, like I said, is because of who you are truly, spiritually. So this is the goal. So they create these buffer classes. So they separate and they give the 5, civilized tribes, they give them little things. They gave them reservations. So it is technically, they're still in captivity, but their captivity is just a little bit better than yours. So they have to do that because now, then they put one above the other, so now they can siphon out. It's the same thing going on with the Africans, who now people are confused thinking they are African Americans, when in fact African Americans, Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, Indians, Negroes, Moors, Aboriginals, and Moroccans are the same people. Look how many times they had to change our name. They got to get you away from who you are. And I'm here to tell you who you are. You are God. You are God. Son, you are God's chosen people. That's who you are. And that's why they got to keep you in the mud. And this is, I'm literally, spirit is talking. It's the ancestors within. It's the DNA, it's the blood within that is talking, wanting you to understand who you are. And when you understand who you are and of what you are, then even though our king is not here, that we can bring law and order and justice back to humanity, back here on earth, if we only were to awaken to who we truly are. And this is why they need the buffer class. And this is why people are confused and they think that the Africans are the African Americans. It's because they purposely set it up that way. They are separating you, just as they separated the 5 civilized tribes. They will give them a certain said thing. Like what they said, they want the diaspora to be the 6th region of Africa. They want the $1.7 trillion of spending power the Black Americans have. In addition to, now there are people that are put in place by Obama. There's an African woman he put in place to now be in charge of our reparations. So where do you think that's going? She's also colluded in with this whole 6th region. So your reparations will be siphoned. And your $1.7 trillion will be siphoned through a vehicle that they built up in 1988 using a Black American man to do it, Jesse Jackson. And then they trick you into watering it. They trick you because they give you all these senses. They have to check all these boxes and they put their boxes there and it says African American and you have to check it because there's no other box. But guess what? This is when you write your own box. Message. And this is how our people has been getting got. And I'm speaking for all of humanity because this is happening on other scales too. You can write your own box. You can create your own box. If you don't fit into their box, you can create your own box. There will be no more destiny swap with the gods. There will be no more destiny swap because we are the energetic currency that they've been using to uphold a false system, a system that is built on lies and materialism, and not of spirit and soul and of love and consciousness. It's the same thing that they do to the children of Africa. They separate all of them. They give them different languages, sound familiar. They gave you that culture. You think you just got that culture? They gave it to you. And by the way, I don't even think Nigeria was even a country until the 1960s, something like that. So the very people, I'm using this loosely, I'm making a point here, go with me here, is some people who say African Americans have no culture when in fact, we've been here on this land, we've been holding down the culture for the culture vultures before your country was formed, before they gave you, see, they had to give you the right to be that tribe. They placed it upon you. Your tribe, your culture, it's a yoke. You're under captivity. Tradition is dead. There's only evolution. Tradition keeps you in a box from evolving. Spirit ain't just never lied. So the very thing that you're saying that is yours, that is your culture, is the very thing that is oppressing you and allowing the yoke on your neck while other nationalities come in and siphon from beautiful Africa. Spirit just ain't never just lied. So essentially you are in the same position, but see, this is the beauty of what they've done. Let's take, even though we've been doing that to the children of Africa, to the children of Mama Africa, even though we've been doing that to them, catch it, what we're about to do. We've been building up this template. We've been building up this thing called African American that we made up and created in a lab. Why don't we go ahead and give this to the children, to the other oppressed children on the other side? And remember, the fight only was able to be started because our DNA is unhealed. The DNA that we do share with Africans. Some of the Africans are saying, why wasn't I taken to this land to get the riches and the wealth? And some of our DNA, Black Americans' DNA, is saying, why? Why was I taken? I should have been left back home. And then I would have this connection, right, to a different part of my culture. This is what's going on a spiritual level. And the reason why we were able to open up this DNA and to examine it, this is what we're doing, has nothing to do with what you think. Come on, it's time to come up in consciousness. You're going to get fed, spiritually fed on this channel. And the only reason why we were able to look into this template is because Donald Trump is our president. Because he provides the right energy to go ahead and revisit this thing we call racism, classism, prejudice, skin color. This is why we're able to revisit this. So now, Black Americans who have been going by the title of African Americans, who are also the indigenous, aboriginals, the Moors, the Amarucans, we each have a choice to dissolve the DNA to come back into wholeness. See, this is the whole point. Once we dissolve it and heal on a DNA level, then it dissolves the fake, false switcheroo that is happening right now. Because I'm here to tell you, if you think that you're going to get something and gain something over another people, you will be part of the karmic justice that will be given out. And spirit just ain't never lied. Don't make yourself a casualty of this war. We fight through consciousness. We fight in the spirit. And there is no fight. When we think of there, it materializes. So you have a duty here today is to go in and through just your meditations, your quiet spaces, and just if you take a few deep breaths, you can start to listen into what does your African DNA have to say? Does it feel guilty for some of them selling us into slavery? Does it feel guilty? Listen in. What does it want to say? Is it saying, I wish I had the same opportunities? I would do so much more than you. What does it have to say? And then Africans listen into your Black American DNA that we share. What does it want to say to you? And I'm hearing, I wish I was there to comfort you. Like they see atrocities going on the continent of Africa. And some of our DNA says, I wish that I wasn't so lowly that I could help. And some of our DNA is saying, I understand the game from a higher point of view. And if you would come out of your rigid ways, that I could teach you the path to true sovereignty. See, this is the point where we got to get to. We got to start catching the game. We got to catch the games that they play. This is what's truly going on a spiritual level. It feels like I'm just looking through a spiritual lens here, and I feel this very deeply on every part of my body. And this was truly what when I listened in, this is what I heard in the spirit of what our DNA is exchanging these codes. And I want to just invite all of you, and this is for my Caribbean brothers and sisters and Brazilian and all of the world who we share this very complex DNA, which makes us all beautiful in our own right. And I want to offer some repentance in this moment and some healings. I had more things to show, and I wanted to tote on African American culture, but I feel led to do this instead because in truth, it's when we heal our DNA, when we fuse it back into wholeness. And one of my sisters literally sent me a video about the water and how it's imprints and how, it holds trauma and how, it literally portals us through, right? And this is what is going on. So I'm speaking to the waters within your body, the waters that is literally activating the DNA light codes from within. And that we find healing today, and we find repentance, and that we find wholeness, and that we find purpose. And to be honest with you, every single person on this earth, I truly believe they do have a remnant of one of these bloodlines. And you guys can also sit within this as well. And it's also a total fusion and healing, even within our own Caucasian DNA as well. Because it's not until, remember, we can't leave any missing pieces. So if you are denying part of your genealogy, then you will be denied by my Father. This is what kind of is going on. Because you were made beautiful. You were made in the image of the I Am. Remove yourself from bondage is what the light language is saying. You have to decide to remove yourself from bondage. You may have been put into bondage. You may have been sold into bondage. You may have even been written into bondage, meaning what source is saying there are some of you who are acting like slaves that have never been in captivity. You've only been written into it. So now you homeopathically overlaid that onto your internal source waters. And this is what truly has happened to a lot of Americans. These ones we call African Americans, Black Americans, foundational Black Americans. A lot of you have not been in captivity. You've only been written into it. And they trick you into watering it, into lowering your vibration through your internal waters. Bamburota, we're removing that today. Nimbani de shambona karaliata. Hamburota le kinani rette lilambona. Hambura shambona le la canirieta. Hamburota le daneta le lambani de shanirete liambo. Hamburota le kinanesha. Hamburota li dandi rambone de la canireta. Bamburoni de andeta le lambone de kinere shamburonu. Humbarani le li lambone. Himbone kara shambene le lande. Hamburota le da canire shamburone de Rambone de Danirete, Himborani de Luna Nirete, Lambane de Rakari Shininambo, Hinanana Kedila Nakadirita, Hamburoni Rishani Ramban Nerete, Lerambanirete, Himburon de Cadeta Naniete, La Candiranda, Humburon de Kedilambani Dandeta, Humburo Coredi de Saniran de Rakirete, Himburo Telerangele Lerambona, Hinerete Lerambone, Kedani de Shamburoto, Humburon de Lerambani de Kina de Randata, Humburota de Randa. Keys have just been unlocked. There are some of you have now received the key codes to end your captivity right now. Source ain't just never lied. It's for you to pick that lock. It's for you to pick it open. There is a healing. There is a vibration that is building within this place today. You have the key codes. It's time to remove the lock, remove the belt, remove the bondage, the yoke. A lot of my African brothers and sisters have yoke. And a lot of these things that you're calling tradition has been set up to enslave you, to keep you within I'm hearing a 4-mile radius within your village when you are meant to be forever expansive. Africa is a continent that can literally rise off from the foundation of the earth and hover in the air. This is Africa. I'm hearing the Horn of Africa is so important. So just as much as Black Americans, we don't want to be called African American because we don't want to destiny swap with you. We're here to support you. But allow us to be us. And yes, we have African DNA, but we do not have the lived experience. And yes, you are here on America's soil, but you do not have the African American experience. So you should not try to fulfill and put yourself into an African American position. Because this is how we've been siphoned out of our birthrights all the time. Is because of them creating buffer classes. And your DNA right now has offered up the DNA light codes to remove the yoke into the bondage so that we can rise. Bamburoto lerandere tambona. Bamburota kalela shamburona. Hinaranere takakinanire shambona. Himona lelanita, ledambone tikiranireta. Hambona de shanireta, halirita. Hamburota lerani shanirambani taliana. Hamburone de kina, lerata. Humborone canare shanirambani lembo. Hanireta canane shambona kirete himborone de shamborone kanirete himborone de kelerambani de talerambone himborone ashana bamborone de kanani de talerambone randi de tanere kande hambone de kanare bani de tambane bambone kanari shani de talerandi etiane hinna de kanari de tambane de taleramba himbora de kanare de shanambam hinna de kanana nambara ne anete hinna de kanari de Nana, Humbrona Canana Canadishana, Humbrona Canani Atilian Bandit and Nida and the Canan Banana Shambana and the Canan Banana, Humbrona Cananian Bandit Talirande, Hinadation of the candidate Tandit Talaramba, Humbrota Landa, Hingaran Bandit Taliran Bandet Talerande, Himborone Candidate Talaran Bandetta, Humborana Shaniran Baneta, Hinonidan Bandit Talera Cambana Talaran Bandit. Himborota lerandete, Himborone carani shanirambani retaliranda carambanirete, Hamborone shanirambenete, Bina carera talereta manande. Clearing, 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 clearing. No matter what you decide from here on out, just understand within this moment, you have received the keys. The keys to go home, the keys for true repentance, the keys of divine consecration within the divine energy. To remove yourself from, I'm hearing the lust template. And the reason why a lot of Africans, and even in some regards, African Americans, people around the world, they will allow themselves to be used in this way because of the lust of money and material things, when in truth, you have all the resources that you will ever need. All of those light codes are within you. The thing about it is people don't believe in long suffering anymore. Long suffering has served me well. I wouldn't even have all of this consciousness without it. This is a true power of a true currency. The currency is energetic. Energy never dies. Bamburuto kara, mambo, shimbona kara, nambona kara. I didn't know where this was going, y'all. I just was being obedient to source. I knew that I had to sit here and I had to deliver this. And I can only be me. The energy within my ancestral codes and my DNA, I'm so proud to be a Black American. I'm so proud of what my people have done for humanity. Very giving, loving people. Will give you the shirt off of their back. I'm proud to be of this land, of America. I'm proud to be of this lineage. I'm proud to call myself American as I honor my diverse lineage in the process. I'm proud of all of it because God don't make no mistakes. And so you can fight too. Don't abandon your homeland. Go home and fight. We did, and we died. Many generations, there's many generations of Black Americans whose stories died with them, passions, love, potentiality. But now look at what has given birth to. It's given birth to immigrants from all over the world being able to be here because our ancestors, Black Americans, we were not afraid to die. Take this resilient spirit to your own homeland and guard it with your life, because what I am telling you, the children of Africa, and sources say in the children of the Horn of Africa, is that there is a great division that is being brought to your continent. And you being divided up into colonies was only the beginning. What will happen next if you do not go home and defend your homeland with your life will change history. This is what I'm saying. We will continue to hold it down over here as we've always done. And that's right from the heart. Something has been released from the heart. I feel it. The heart, the secret place in the Most High. We have really done it today. I really feel that we have cleansed the template. I felt a huge release in the heart. I feel that we have done it. I feel that we have done it. So now, and what I'm going to tell my Black American brothers and sisters is that now we have a problem. We have to dissolve this shell company called African American, because if not, we will be the same thing, where we will be reclassified yet again. And in some regards, we are reclassifying ourselves, and they are now using that to now place another group of people, the Africans, into the African American position. And so in the future, your children and your children's children will not understand of who they are. They will not understand of their contributions to this great country of America, because it will be the Africans will have been superimposed onto African American. And so what I am saying is we have to dissolve this shell company, because all they're going to do is use it to siphon resources from the diaspora, from Black Americans, even from Africans. And what will be in that pot too is the reparations. So they'll say that they paid you, even though the reparations will now be what on the continent of Africa where you've never been. And on the continent of Africa where even Africans cannot partake in it. It will be for the Chinese and for the new, settlers there that will now build another, strong civilization. And some of these people purposely want to bring America down to a second-class nation because they have their eye on Africa. I'm hearing the Horn of Africa. And so in the end, we will both end up being used. We must dissolve the title African American. It was never to be. It was never real. It was always made up to siphon the energy of the gods. And that's just what I want to say. This is very powerful. So powerful. Very, very powerful. There's so much more I could say. Let's end this on a happy note. Let's see. Let's end this on a happy note. And I'm going to go ahead and mute some of these things because of the music. But we're just going to end on a happy note. That's what we're going to do. A little bit of Black American culture for you guys. Say we don't have culture, but our culture is, we share our culture with everyone in the world, and we share it freely because it's beautiful and it's very diverse. And here's a little bit of it. That's a oldie but a goodie right there. Just taking a look at some of our culture. You guys remember those earrings? We got the grills, we got the the nails. It's a very rich history. It's a combination of so many different things that are within our lineage that make up this very unique group of people, Black Americans. And so if we don't dissolve the title African Americans, because clearly it doesn't mean that anymore, then our rich culture will get forgotten. And it's very important for us to preserve our culture. So that's beautiful. Y'all remember this, right? I can't play the music. That's Coco. Flo. She was a Flo Joe. The nails. You know, everybody is, you know, wearing these kind of nails on a day-to-day basis, but you know, we have to look at where some of these things became popular. Became part of pop culture. And so when they say African Americans don't have any culture, it's because our culture is shared worldwide, right? I think the internet's getting a little spotty. That's when I know, when anytime the internet starts to get spotty, that's when I just know that I did it right. I hit that vibration. You gotta angle yourself to hit that vibration. When you hit that vibration, it's like hitting a piñata where all the like candy falls down. And this is where you get the light codes and the healing vibrations, right? And even we are the creators of what? Swing dance. Yes. A lot of the things that you guys are saying is white American are things that we actually created as well. We don't gatekeep. It's we are American. It's part of our culture. It's beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Very beautiful. Swing dance, particularly the Lindy Hop, has roots in African American culture, which is Black American, which is very important. Why we if we're going to be Black American or foundational Black America, we have to dissolve African American. No one can use it because it holds what? Our culture and our history. This was popularized then back in the 1920s and 30s. It emerged from the Harlem Renaissance, right? And it came from the jazz music that we created. So it's very important that you know that. Very, very important. I was about to pick on Kamala for a minute. Let me leave Kamala alone. I feel bad for her. Let me leave her alone. Like, just looking at the beautiful culture that is forever evolving, right? This is what I love about being a Black American. We can take something from nothing and turn it into something that is a gift for the entire world. It just brings people, you know, happiness. It's bittersweet. It's bittersweet when I look back at, like, you know, at the past, you know, and you realize, like, you didn't appreciate who you were. You really don't appreciate it until what? Until now. Until now, when they want to take it away and give it to someone else. We died for this. We bled for this. We will protect this. Spiritually, we will protect it. And then we got the HBCUs, which we all know. You know anything about the Battle of the Bands? Let me think. Let me see. I think it's here. Jackson State University. I remember us traveling to go see some of these battle of the bands when these historically Black colleges would battle each other. And they would call it the Battle of the Bands. So this is part of Black culture and history. It's a very beautiful culture. And you remember when Burna Boy was talking about Black Americans have no culture, but he's literally dressed like LL Cool J in this photo. Hold on. He dodged the question too, girl.
City Boy. Obviously, there was a very blatant and obvious reaction to the snippet after you posted it. A lot of people felt as if it maybe had a lot of Black American influences. Right. And your whole career, you've always preached unity and bringing Black people together. And everybody says that you once said or alluded to Black Americans not having any culture. So they were like, well, wait a second. Why is he wearing shoes that look like Tim's and sampling an American song if Black Americans have no culture?
Like, I'm really glad you asked that question because it's like, yeah.
He gonna dance around it. Bless his heart. He didn't give an answer, but I mean, you remember the Kango hat, guys? This was popularized Big Daddy Kane, right? This was what was Heavy D. Like this was part of like our culture, like growing up. I remember those artists wearing that in their videos and yeah, LL Cool J, right? Even he got the chain, like you got the Timbs, like this is all from Black American culture. And to say we don't have a culture is just like, if we don't have a culture, then are we just sitting in a chair as a blank soul, just sitting? Like, that's not even possible. Every single person living on planet Earth has a culture. And if so, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm poking fun at him that he knows. That's why he gave that little smirk, because he literally looked like he just stepped out of a 1980s rap video. So he kind of knows that, but I'm just poking fun at it because there's nothing to prove. There ain't nothing to prove. And y'all remember when Kamala was talking about she was washing them collard greens in her bathtub? That's when I knew Kamala, when she was on the campaign trail, she was trying to prove that she was Black American. And she's talking about she remember washing her collard greens. I watched so many greens one time for people. That's what she said. I had to put them in the bathtub. And we're like, now, Kamala, we know you lying, girl, because Black folks ain't never put no collard greens up in no bathtub. You just told on yourself. We ain't never did that, okay? Here she is doing her best rendition of, of being Black. Okay, I don't want to play the music. Go ahead, girl. Boots on the ground. I'm just saying, the thing is, that's why it don't seem like we have culture, because we share it with everybody. We share it with everyone freely. That's just what it is. That's what it is, guys. And I think there's really nothing more to say. We'll just have this little motif of a little bit more Black history, a collage. Our food, music, culture, inventions, causes. Brings a lot of memories. A lot of memories. I think I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I don't think there's anything else to say, really. I'm going to look at the chat really quickly. Thank you very much. And for everyone who participated in the chat as well. And at the end of the day I hope you got the cleansing. That's what it's about. It's about the healing. It's about the healing. So I hope you got that. And yes, that is just pretty much all of what I would like to say. But I love you guys, the birds, the bees, and yes, all of the beautiful trees. They all love you too. Be well as we walk together.